Hello there. Today we're in a 2004 Mk1 Mazda 2 Capella, which looks like this. And this little car has various handy little features, some of which aren't immediately obvious, that make life easier. So, let's have a look around, shall we? Welcome to CarSpyTV. Okay, let's have a look at the roof. And we can see here that there's this plastic bar that starts there towards the front of the car, and it goes all the way down like this towards the rear. And if we look here, you can see this section here is cut out, which means we can remove it with a prying tool or a screwdriver if you prefer, like so. Now that reveals, there we go, a little hole there, so you can secure a roof rack. And of course there are other mounting points too. There's another one there towards the front of the car, and much the same on the near side. So good news if you've got lots of luggage. Okay, we're in the back of the car now. This is the right rear seat, and as you'd expect, the back support folds flat, like so you can get larger items in the boot. But this 2004 Mazda 2 has an extra little trick. Let me show you. See the base of the seat? Well, it lifts up like so, then folds forward into the floor well, and then the back support can lie considerably flatter, which makes life easier. Now, as I'm sure you know, it's important to have the correct tyre pressures, because tyre pressures affect how your vehicle brakes, handles and rides. But how do you know what the correct pressures are? Well, let's open the near side front door, like so. And now we need to have a good look at this B-pillar and follow it all the way down. And then we shall find this useful little sticker. Now, the particular car I have here has the 15-inch wheel. See 15 there by my nail? So these are the rows we need to look at, and you can see we've got different pressures for the front tyres and the back, whether the car is carrying up to 3 people or indeed a full load. And much the same information is available up here if your particular car has the smaller 14-inch wheel. Good stuff. The Mk1 Mazda 2 has an OBD2 port. What's that, I hear cry? Well, OBD stands for Onboard Diagnostics. So, if your car has a fault, you can connect a scanning tool to the port. That scanner will give you a code, and that code will suggest what's wrong. The big question is, where's the port? Okay, here's how to find the OBD2 port in a Mk1 Mazda 2. And as you can see, we're starting by the steering wheel. We now need to look further down in this direction. So we're going past the ignition slot, all the way down here to this shelving area, and look, there's a trapdoor. And if you're brave enough to look inside it, as I am today, you will see a black thing just there at the end of my finger. And that is your OBD2 port. Headlights. Naturally, you want the lights of your car pointing in the optimum direction. You don't want them aiming too high, or too low, or too far to the left, or too far to the right, because you won't get a good view of the road and you might dazzle other drivers. Luckily, if your headlights aren't pointing in the right direction, there are a couple of easy things you can do to make things better. We're looking now at the left headlamp. Specifically, we want to see down there. Can you see that white thing? That is an adjustment screw. And there's another one of those which you can access down this hole. I'll show you. Hopefully the camera will focus. There we go. Now, one of those screws moves the light up and down, and the other moves it left and right. I can't tell which does which at the moment because, well, it's far too light out here. but nonetheless you can make your adjustments with some kind of Allen key arrangement. I've got this ratchet, and of course it is the same on the other side. And if you need to make quick adjustments while you're driving, there's this toggle close to the driver's door handle, and you twist it down like so to lower the headlamps, and up like that to raise them. But of course you can't move them left and right. For that you have to go under the bonnet. Now, have you heard of ISOFIX? ISOFIX is a system that enables you to connect a child seat to your car without having to wrap it up in the adult seatbelt, which can be a real faff. So, at the back of the child seat there are a couple of hooks, and they connect to strong mounting points in the car. This Mazda 2 has those points, but they are a little tricky to find if you don't know they're there. So let's see if we can find those ISOFIX mounting points. We're at the right rear seat, and we need to follow the back down all the way to there. Now, can you see that black thing at the end of my finger? There's a slot in there, and if I push my finger in and twist the camera to an uncomfortable angle, there you are. You can see just at the end of my finger a strong metal bar. That is one of the mounting points for the hook at the back of your child seat. And as I said earlier, there are two hooks at the back of the child seat, so the second one in this case goes into a slot there. But there's more to consider, because some child seats have a tether that goes all the way over the back of the car seat and into the boot, and this Mazda 2 has somewhere to connect that tether as well. So let's go round now into the boot. Look down here, and there is the mounting point for your tether. And as you'd expect, all this is replicated on the near side of the car. Now, if you've just bought your Mazda 2, or perhaps borrowed it for a day, you may not know what type of fuel it needs. But there's no need to panic, burst into tears and call your mum for help. There's an easy way to find out. I'll show you. So grab your key and open the fuel flap, like so, and then look for this sticker up here towards the top, and you can see on this particular car it says unleaded there rather than diesel, and also a minimum 95 RON, so that couldn't be much clearer. Look at all these scratches. Now, if something electrical stops working on a car, the first thing I typically do is check the related fuse to see if it's blown. Now, this Mazda 2 makes that nice and easy because the fuse boxes are accessible and they tell you which fuse does what. Now, there are a couple of fuse boxes in this car which are easily accessible, and for the interior one, well, we haven't even got to get out the driver's seat. So have a look down there. There we go. See this little cover here? This needs to be removed. It's quite stiff. There we go. And as you can see, there is a whole load of fuses. But which one does what? Well, that's easy enough to find out by looking on the back of the cover. And there is all the information you could possibly want. This little 1.4 petrol also has a second easily accessible fuse box in the engine bay. To find it, look for the battery, which of course is that big rectangular thing there. And behind the battery, we have this plastic cover, which I've already loosened. And under there, even more fuses and one or two relays for good luck. And once again, if you want to know what does what, it's all written on the lid. Okay, here's a few honourable mentions. The seatbelt mounts for the shoulder in the front of the car could be lowered, like so, or raised, so it's comfortable. Obviously, you want it higher if taller. Over here, there's the ashtray, which, as you can see, opens like that and then jams. But if you want to remove it, to empty it, You simply press down there and it comes out quite easily, which makes life easier. On the back of the driver's sun visor, naturally you have a mirror so you can check you're looking gorgeous, but there's also this little clip which is handy for storing business cards or, in this case, knitting yarn. And finally, the Mazda 2 is the perfect place to store your little butterfly. So there we go. Those are some tips, tricks and handy features of the Mk1 Mazda 2, specifically this 2004 Capella. Now, I'm interested to know what you think about this car, so why not pop down to the comments section, let me know what you like, let me know what you don't like, maybe you spotted some useful features I haven't mentioned. Also, don't forget to subscribe to CarSpyTV because, wow, I've got some really good stuff coming up.